The Egyptian and Russian presidents witnessed the inauguration of the first reactor unit at the Dabaa nuclear power plant. President Sisi says today marks the beginning of Egypt's modern nuclear energy chapter. And President Putin emphasizes that the Egypt-Russia partnership has opened new avenues for advancing technological collaboration. You're watching Q News with me, Henny Saif. It's 4 p.m. Cairo local time, and in the news today, the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Russian President Vladimir Putin have jointly inaugurated a major milestone at the Dabaa nuclear power plant, witnessing via video conference the installation of the reactor pressure vessel for the plant's first nuclear unit. The ceremony also included the signing of the nuclear fuel procurement order, marking a crucial step towards the project's operational phase. In parallel, both leaders took part in the formal event to place the containment structure of the first reactor unit, an essential milestone underscoring the deepening strategic cooperation between Cairo and Moscow in the field of peaceful nuclear energy. Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has expressed deep gratitude to Russian President Vladimir Putin for participating in the ceremony and for Russia's strong commitment to the Dabaa nuclear project. President al-Sisi said Egypt and Russia enjoy a stable strategic partnership and stressed that today marks the beginning of Egypt's modern nuclear energy chapter. The Egyptian president affirmed that the Dabaa project signals Egypt's determination to move forward with full strength, highlighting that cooperation with Russia serves the interests of both peoples. He noted that wise decision-making ensures stable energy supplies and reaffirmed Egypt's priority status in the nuclear energy field, thanking all contributors to the project. Russian President Vladimir Putin has praised the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for initiating the Dabaa nuclear project, describing the occasion as a moment of great honor and pride. Putin highlighted that the newly inaugurated unit at the Dabaa plant can generate 460 megawatts, contributing an additional 35,000 kilowatts to Egypt's energy output. The Russian president emphasized that the Egypt-Russia partnership has opened new avenues for sharing expertise and advancing technological collaboration. He also expressed deep gratitude to all individuals and teams who contributed to the successful realization of the project, underlining the importance of this milestone in strengthening bilateral cooperation and supporting Egypt's energy security and sustainable development goals. President Vladimir Putin has also warmly welcomed all participants at the special Dabaa nuclear power plant ceremony and highlighted the launch of a new phase aimed at strengthening the plant's nuclear energy capabilities. He emphasized that all achievements at the Dabaa were supported personally by the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. Putin recalled the decades-long strategic partnership between Egypt and Russia, noting Russia's collaboration on numerous national mega projects. He announced plans to establish a Russian free zone in the Suez Canal Economic Area and projected an additional 35 billion kilowatts from the Dabaa project. He also highlighted that 100 Egyptian students have studied nuclear energy in Russian universities, congratulating President al-Sisi on Egypt's Nuclear Energy Day. Egypt and Russia mark a historic milestone as Presidents Sisi and Putin witnessed the first Dabaa reactor vessel installation, advancing nuclear energy and strategic cooperation.
Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and Russian President Vladimir Putin witnessed via video conference the installation of reactor pressure vessel for the first nuclear unit of the Dabaa plant, along with the signing of the nuclear fuel procurement order. The Dabaa nuclear power plant, situated in Matruh Governorate, is a strategic national project designed to diversify Egypt's energy mix and provide clean, sustainable electricity with a total capacity of 4,800 megawatts. Comprising 4 advanced reactors, the plant reflects decades of Egypt's effort to introduce peaceful nuclear energy since the early 1950s. Aligned with the country's long-term vision for sustainable development and climate resilience. The project began with a preliminary agreement between Egypt and Russia on 19th of November 2015 to establish the country's first nuclear power plant, followed by the main construction contracts in November 2017, which paved the way for preparatory and construction work. The El Dabaa site on Egypt's northwestern Mediterranean coast was selected in 1983 as one of the most suitable locations nationwide. More than 40 years of technical studies confirmed its readiness for nuclear development. Earlier in March 2019, the Nuclear and Radiological Regulatory Authority granted the site approval permit after extensive reviews, affirming compliance with Egyptian and international safety standards. This milestone highlights the strength of Egyptian-Russian cooperation, reflecting strategic trust and shared ambitions for long-term energy security and sustainable development.
And for more on this, we now move to Rana Al-Assas in our newsroom. Rana.
Thank you so much, Hani. And for more analysis, we're joined from Cairo by Editor-in-Chief of Al-Akhbar Daily newspaper, Dr. Osama Saeed. Welcome to Q News, sir. Sir, how does the inauguration of the first reactor unit at Al-Dabaa mark a new chapter in Egypt's nuclear energy program?
First of all, thank you for having me. Of course, this project and this agreement between Egypt and Russia is a foundation stone for progress in the joint relations, especially that this cooperation in the nuclear energy field is very important when we talk future. And so this is the first nuclear power plant with Russia to increase Egypt's energy production, and so Egypt can actually enhance progress in the future, especially that Egypt has a hopeful vision when it comes to increasing their energy resources, either renewable energy, nuclear energy, or the green hydrogen energy, as well as other kinds of energy. And also Egypt has plans to have a regional center for energy, and also Egypt has plans to grow, to become bigger in the industrial field. And so this is a chance here for the investors that will come to work in the Egyptian industrial zones. And this here, the inauguration could actually contribute to 10% of the gross production of energy here in Egypt when it starts working. And so such places could actually go higher in number now, especially that Egypt has lots of people. We have 100 million, and we need such projects, and we need to get more ways to get energy. And this cooperation with Russia could actually open more opportunities to cooperate with other countries on so many levels.
Sir, from your own narrative perspective, what strategic importance does the Dabaa project hold for Egypt's energy security and sustainable development goals?
Of course, Egypt has an agenda, and they have a lot of sustainable development goals, and they have already started working on this agenda, especially that Egypt has had progress, so much progress over the past years, and they could renew the Egyptian economy and to diversify ways to do so. They revived lots of sectors that have been having problems at some point after 2011, and so Egypt could actually start a national project to build such large projects either in the northern coast where the first unit is, or in upper Egypt in the south. And also they have been working on project when it comes to agriculture and industry that aim at exporting what we produce here, and so this could be very important to support sustainable development in Egypt, especially that nuclear energy is very large, and it comes at low cost, and it actually can be used for long decades, and so Egypt could really benefit from this type of energy to support and to enhance sustainable development, especially in the western coast, because of the projects that Egypt has signed over the past years with a number of Arab countries that have visions to enhance their investment in Egypt, like Qatar, for example.
Sir, could you elaborate more and assess the role of Russian expertise in the successful implementation of Al Dabaa nuclear power plant?
Actually, Russia here is one of the countries that have advanced technology when it comes to nuclear energy, and they have large expertise since for decades now, and since this era, and they have a large expertise, as I said, and they have lots of nuclear power plants that are a foundation for how they generate energy in Russia. And also Egypt has through Rosatom, they have more expertise even, and they work on exporting peaceful nuclear energy for the countries that need this nuclear energy to generate electricity. And this is what Egypt has aimed for, and why they cooperated with Russia. The new power plant that will be in Al Dabaa belong to the advanced peaceful nuclear reactors that have great safety and also generate a large amount of energy. And it's also not just about nuclear fuel, but also Russia has been training a lot of Egyptian staff that will be working here in this power plant to monitor it, and this is also an addition to Egypt's staff. Actually, they will be gaining expertise in such a very important field, especially that Egypt has had a long history of trying to build nuclear reactors and having a program to produce peaceful nuclear energy. But actually this stopped with the Chernobyl accident. But Egypt now is getting back to this project and rebuilding it in coordination with the Russian side, especially, like I said, Russia has a lot of expertise because of the Soviet Union, and so since the Soviet Union, and they have what it takes to build peaceful nuclear energy.
How does the Dabaa project reflect the decades strategic partnership between both countries, Egypt and Russia?
Yeah, this project is a part of a full strategic partnership that was signed in 2018 between Egypt and Russia, especially that the Russian-Egyptian relationships have been going on for more than 80 years. Russia was a partner in the 60s, and they supported the Nasser, and they also helped with building the dome, and this was actually a milestone, and the high dome. And also Russia has helped Egypt so much, like what happened in 1973, and also now these relationships have been getting stronger and stronger, especially in President El Sisi's era. And actually we've seen this through the recent partnerships on the economic track, where we have seen the trade levels going up, and also they have enhanced the economic partnership through the support in the industrial zone and in Suez Canal, and also they have enhanced strategic and military technological coordination. And Egypt is always keen to enhance the relationship further, especially that Egypt has joined the BRICS, where Russia is one of the founders, and this actually supports or helps to support the Russian-Egyptian relationships. And this power plant in Dabaa will be one of the largest projects that shows this long relationship between the two countries.
Sir, the significance of the nuclear fuel procurement order signed during the ceremony, could you please explain more? And I need to know your narrative about what took place more.
Yeah, nuclear fuel is the most important part here, and signing an agreement to import the nuclear fuel, that the power plant to reach advanced stages to start activating this power plant. And here, yes, the agreement, they will hold up their side of the deal to supply the power plant with the fuel that it needs, and this is the most important part of the power plant. This is when it comes to the nuclear fuel. And then Russia is actually supplying Egypt with it, and they actually are the ones who set these standards, and this guarantees a sustainable and safe thing. And so this is very important here to start this project, and it shows that we are near advanced steps to actually get this project out in light, and to start to have this power plant producing energy in the upcoming years.
Of course, it's with all pride that, of course, Egypt moves closer to nuclear energy innovation and sustainability. And that was Dr. Usama Saeed, the editor-in-chief of Al Akhbar daily newspaper. Thank you very much for joining us on Q News. And now we go back to my dear colleague, Hani Saif, in our studios. Hani.
Thank you, Rana. Egypt's Minister of Electricity and Renewable Energy, Mahmoud Ismat, has affirmed that the country has succeeded in turning a major national dream into reality through the Al Dabaa nuclear power plant. Ismat noted that the project will generate 4,800 megawatts of electricity, marking a transformative leap for Egypt's energy sector. He added that today's achievements reflect the deep, continuous and intensive cooperation between Egypt and Russia, underscoring the scale of the joint efforts that brought the project to this advanced stage. The Director General of the Russian State Atomic Energy Corporation, Alexei Likhachev, has said that work is underway on 222 new facilities within the Dabaa nuclear power plant. Likhachev noted that 1,700 Egyptian specialists have already taken part in the project, underscoring the depth of cooperation between both countries. He emphasized that the Dabaa plant is designed to provide a major boost to Egypt's energy production capacity. He also expressed his gratitude to the Egyptian and Russian presidents for their support and the close partnership that has enabled progress on the project. International Atomic Energy Agency Director General Rafael Grossi has described the Dabaa nuclear project as one of Egypt's most significant national undertakings. Grossi noted that the agency conducted thorough and professional assessments of the project and expressed deep appreciation for Egypt's efforts and cooperation throughout the process. He also conveyed his sincere wishes for success as Egypt proceeds with the commissioning of the Dabaa nuclear power plant, emphasizing the project's importance for the country's future energy landscape.
Your investment in nuclear power is a game changer for Egypt and the region.
And on to the latest developments in the Russian-Ukrainian conflict. The Kremlin has dismissed reports of a new 28-point U.S. peace plan for Ukraine, saying there are no updates since the August summit between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said there are no innovations to report and confirmed Russia's position remains based on Putin's 2024 terms, including Kiev renouncing NATO membership and withdrawing from the four regions Moscow claims. Nearly 4 years into the war, Russian forces still control about 19% of Ukraine. The Kremlin has expressed regret over Poland's decision to close Russia's last consulate in Gdansk, calling it against common sense. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said that relations with Poland have completely deteriorated and that the consulate closure reflects Warsaw's desire to eliminate nearly all consular or diplomatic ties. Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski has said that Poland will withdraw consent for Russia's last operating consulate in Gdansk, calling the move a response to an act of sabotage on a key railway line over the weekend. Poland, which is a hub for Western aid to Ukraine, says 2 Ukrainian collaborators behind the sabotage have fled to Belarus, which is an ally of Russia, while Moscow denies involvement and accuses Poland of Russophobia. British Defence Minister John Healey has warned that the UK has military options ready after the Russian spy ship Yantar allegedly directed lasers at RAF pilots monitoring its movements north of Scotland. Healey said the vessel, designed to gather intelligence and map undersea cables, entered the UK's wider waters in recent weeks and is being closely tracked by a Royal Navy frigate and RAF aircraft. calling the laser incident deeply dangerous. He stressed that Britain is prepared to respond if the UNTAR moves south or poses further risks.
This is a vessel designed for gathering intelligence and mapping our undersea cables. We deployed a Royal Navy frigate.
Ukraine plans to claim nearly $44 billion from Russia for climate warming emissions caused by the ongoing war, marking the first time a country has sought damages for environmental impact linked to the conflict. Deputy Minister Pavlo Karkatashov said the war has severely damaged water, land and forests, while Dutch carbon expert Leonard de Klerk estimated the conflict produced roughly 237 million tons of extra CO2, equal to the annual emissions of Ireland, Belgium and Austria combined. Ukraine intends to submit its claim through a Council of Europe compensation process, with frozen Russian assets suggested as a potential source for payment. Russia has said that its forces struck 153 sites across Ukraine, targeting fuel and energy facilities, military trains and armored vehicles. Russia also reported downing 3 guided bombs and 206 drones. Ukraine said it shot down or suppressed 101 Russian drones and faced attacks with 4 Iskander-M ballistic missiles. Ukrainian troops repelled multiple Russian assaults in eastern front lines and conducted precise strikes on Russian military facilities using U.S. tactical missiles, emphasizing continued use of long-range strike capabilities. Moving on, the Louvre Museum will install 100 new external cameras by the end of 2026 as it tightens security following last month's dramatic $102 million jewel heist. Director Laurence Descartes said cooperation with Paris police will also increase, including a new mobile outpost on the museum grounds. The October 19th robbery exposed major security gaps, with officials acknowledging poor camera coverage of the museum's outer walls and the balcony used in the break-in. 4 suspects have been charged, but the stolen jewels remain missing. French authorities are also rolling out anti-intrusion devices and anti-ramming barriers after a public audit criticized the museum's sluggish infrastructure upgrades.
Cette phrase résonne douloureusement aujourd'hui. Un mois jour pour jour.
Chinese agents posed as headhunters to spy on Parliament, calling the claims groundless. Spokesperson Mao Ning said China does not interfere in other countries' affairs and has no interest in collecting intelligence from the UK. The warning follows a new MI5 alert to lawmakers about attempts by Beijing to gather information, which UK Security Minister Dan Jarvis described as a covert and calculated attempt to influence British politics. The Allen Institute in Seattle has launched a new AI platform that lets scientists explore and compare vast brain datasets as easily as searching online. The Brain Knowledge Platform integrates data from humans and animals, but is anchored in detailed 3D maps of the mouse brain, charting genes, cell types, and neural circuits. Researchers can now align their experiments with these reference maps and studies from other labs, speeding research on conditions from dementia to psychiatric disorders. While current supercomputers cannot yet simulate the human brain at this level of detail, Allen Institute investigator Anton Arkhipov said such simulations could be possible in the future. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin for now, but before we wrap up, here's a recap of the top stories making headlines this hour. The Egyptian and Russian presidents witnessed the inauguration of the first reactor unit at the Dabaa nuclear power plant. President Sisi says today marks the beginning of Egypt's modern nuclear energy chapter. And President Putin emphasizes that the Egypt-Russia partnership has opened new avenues for advancing technological collaboration. These are all the news we have for now, but for more details and live updates, follow Q News on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram and TikTok at QNewsEGY. From all of us here, thank you for watching and stay tuned for more coming up here on Q News.